than is mathematically metered now. Gold, however, can respond to the increase in price that it has enjoyed. And we are seeing new mines opening up, the higher cost mines, to try and get more supply out. And I think people are beginning to understand this distinction when it comes to scarcity value. And they have now been cleared. Those hurdles have been cleared. So we think that for the next year, that this bull market will remain intact.
Hey guys, welcome to Everyday Finance. Bitcoin has returned, and it feels different this time. It has broken through significant resistance levels following a period of sideways trading, suggesting a possible change in opinion. Growing conviction is taking the place of the hesitancy. On-chain data is supporting this, and institutional interest is subtly growing. Fear is waning, long-term holders are building up, and the general trend is becoming more optimistic. This bounce isn't like the others. It might be the beginning of something far more significant. The Ark Invest's Cathie Wood concurs. Her recent remarks indicate growing confidence in Bitcoin's trajectory, even if she usually ignores short-term noise. The updated bull case for Ark? Strong on-chain indications, growing institutional acceptance, and the allure of decentralized limited assets worldwide will all contribute to a startling tilde. $1.5 million by 2030, recent declines in technical terms already taken in opposition, turned over. For Wood, it's conviction supported by data, not hype. The situation might be historic as opinion changes and smart money makes a comeback. This next stage of Bitcoin could be one to remember, regardless of whether you're currently invested or not. Stay tuned as we explore some of the highlights from Cathie's enlightening interview. For additional market intelligence, remember to like, subscribe, and enable notifications.
Yes, I think what is happening here, it started with the spot Bitcoin ETFs. We're very proud to have one of the largest here in the United States, ARKB. That began the institutionalization of Bitcoin, the Bitcoin market, and other crypto markets, other digital assets. And I think many people are now tuning into the arithmetic. I actually posted on X, math is math, and math is mathin'. And what that means is we're at right now roughly 21 million units, or Bitcoin, having been mined in history. And that number is only going up to 21 million. It cannot go beyond that. And so I think more people are doing the math and saying, oh my goodness, this is a new asset class. I, as an institution, don't have much exposure. Bitcoin has the most secure network, and it's taking advantage of three powerful revolutions. It's a technology revolution, really the next generation of the internet, putting the native currencies into the internet. The developers did not do this in the late 80s, early 90s, when they were evolving the internet, because they didn't know that finance and commerce would take place on the internet. So that's a revolution. It's a global rules-based monetary system, really the first one since the U.S. closed the gold window in 1971. That's a very big idea. And it is a new asset class. And it's that last phenomenon or revolution that is beginning to take hold now, because there's real scarcity value. 1 million more Bitcoin will be mined, and that's it. So scarcity value is scarcity value. And the most interesting thing about Bitcoin is after the halving last year, which means the supply growth of Bitcoin was cut in half. to roughly 0.9% on average per year. That dropped the supply growth of Bitcoin below the long-term supply growth of gold. And a lot of people understand the scarcity value when it comes to gold. Bitcoin is going to become more scarce than gold because, unlike gold, Bitcoin cannot respond to an increase in price and mine any more than is mathematically metered now. Gold, however, can respond to the increase in price that it has enjoyed. And we are seeing new mines opening up, the higher cost mines, to try and get more supply out. And I think people are beginning to understand this distinction when it comes to scarcity value. So what I'd like first to is to address the longer term target. So the number you mentioned, somewhere in the 2.4 to 2.9 million range, would be if investors were to use the optimal allocation towards Bitcoin based on its history. And that, of course, is a big number. I think it's close to 20%. No one's going to do that, at least not now. However, if you look at our big ideas 2025, you'll see that our bull case for Bitcoin in 2030 is closer to 1.5 million, still more than tenfold from where we are today. And our confidence has increased as the institutional interest has increased. In terms of a one-year forecast, that's very difficult. We don't do those. However, I will tell you, we have an on-chain analytics expert, David Puel, who has 4 main indicators right now that are still pointing to a bull market. And we've just had a major breakout. I think many of the technicals were beginning to look a little iffy or shaky, and they have now been cleared. Those hurdles have been cleared. So we think that for the next year, that this bull market will remain intact.
Although the globe appears to be in turmoil, a significant change is actually taking place. The fear is beginning to fade from markets, and innovation is accelerating rather than slowing down. The true tale is AI is becoming more well-known. Technology is changing everything, from medical development and cancer detection advances to driverless cars vying for trillion-dollar markets. Most investors don't even anticipate the seismic shift that is about to occur in the healthcare industry. It's not simply about getting back up. Rewriting the playbook is the goal. And for those who are paying attention right now, this might be the decade's largest wave. In the meantime, Bitcoin is about to enter a new phase, and the figures are unavoidable this time. Scarcity is real, since there will only ever be 21 million coins, and demand will spike if the ETF is approved. Momentum is growing, technical indicators are turning bullish, and institutional players are entering quickly. Although long-term projections are extremely optimistic, even the upcoming year may be unexpected.
Bitcoin is quietly redefining
value on its own terms without waiting for approval. Stay tuned as we go further into the discussion. For additional insights, remember to like, subscribe, and enable notifications. Let's get started.
Yes, I think the markets have said, okay, he can say this, but it's all part of a negotiation. And I think at the end of the day, when all is said and done, we're going to be very interested in learning how much of the tariff increases are offset by a drop in non-tariff trade barriers, allowing the free flow of goods much more than we have seen historically. So we don't have the full story. We know there's a huge negotiation taking place behind the scenes, and I think the market's just saying, all right, this is a negotiation. Let's see what finally happens, not just on the tariff front, but on the non-tariff trade barrier front, and how much this administration is or is not encouraging truly free and fair trade. Yes, well, we know that AI is here, and it is, we do not believe it's hype. We believe it's a profound technological revolution that's taking place. And of course, many people, when many investors, when they included or when they thought about AI, their first response was in the chip sector, so NVIDIA, TSM. And we think they'll be fine stocks, but we think the bigger opportunities, meaning they're not as well understood, are in the embodied AI space. And by that we mean AI as it impacts the physical world. We think the biggest application of AI is in the autonomous mobility realm. Many people know that as robotaxis. And we think that is, during the next 5 to 10 years, that will scale to an $8 to $10 trillion opportunity globally for the entire ecosystem, with the biggest beneficiaries, the network providers, accounting for half of that, so $4 to $5 trillion in revenue from essentially nothing now. The biggest robotaxi network out there, we believe, will be Tesla. Now, it is not yet. Waymo really has that. I would say has that mantle. But we believe that Waymo's solution is too high cost, and that it will give way to Tesla's lower cost solution over time. We think that the autonomous opportunity will submit to natural geographic monopolies. We don't know who that will be in Europe or China. We know Pony AI and others are going for it, nor do we know what it will be in Japan. We know that Tesla would like to enter those markets, but in this world, it's winner take most. The company getting passengers from point A to point B the fastest, the safest, and the least expensively is probably going to win. So lots of markets are up for grabs there. So that's the first embodied AI opportunity. The second is in healthcare. We think that the most profound applications of AI during the next 5 to 10 years are going to be in healthcare. We see already that there are diagnostic tools, diagnostic tests that are able to identify and diagnose cancer in stage 1. We're seeing this in one of our private companies, Freenome, able to use blood tests to diagnose colorectal cancer in stage 1. We have other tests out, the testing companies out there, Exact Sciences, Guardant Health, also in the run for that competition. We see research and discovery being transformed by AI. AI is going to shrink the time from conception to market to create a new drug from 13 years on average now to 8 years and ultimately 5 years, we believe. And what's been very gratifying here in the United States is the FDA, the top regulator, is aiming to help with that process. So it is blessing the use of AI in research and discovery. And we also think that the cost of discovering a new drug, including all the failures, will drop from $2.4 billion for one drug down to $600 million, which is going to transform healthcare. And then the third general category that we think is going to transform healthcare is curing disease. So the convergence of various sequencing technologies with artificial intelligence and new technologies like CRISPR gene editing and other gene therapies is already starting to cure diseases, sickle cell disease and beta thalassemia. So CRISPR Therapeutics has launched those two products, and they have already started generating revenues and curing people. So these are profound changes that we don't think investors have priced correctly into the market yet.
It's possible that a historic revaluation of Bitcoin is imminent. Bitcoin may be mispriced by a factor of 10, according to Plan B, the developer of the popular stock-to-flow model. Bitcoin's market capitalization is only a small portion of gold's at about $2 trillion, even though it is twice as scarce. The math plainly favors Bitcoin, with a stock-to-flow ratio of 120 compared to 64 gold. However, it is still selling well below the value that scarcity should have on a long-term log scale. The upside might be enormous if it were valued just on scarcity. Cathie would also notices it, according to ARK Invest's bull case, institutional acceptance, on-chain maturity, and Bitcoin's special status as a financial triple threat or revolutionary money system. It's a digital asset class, and a foundational economic layer for the internet will propel the price to around $1.55 million. By 2030, momentum is only being increased by recent technical developments. Whale accumulation is increasing. Bitcoin has overcome resistance. And important indicators like the RSI and SOP indicate that there is still a lot of space before we reach joyful zone. Wallets of all sizes, from tiny holders to institutions, are in accumulation mode, according to Glassnode. This bull cycle isn't like the others. It's unlike gold. Bitcoin is unable to react to demand due to its hard-coded supply cap. Rising demand and this rigidity are creating the conditions for a potent price discovery phase. Bitcoin may not only catch up to gold, but may even overtake it if this trend continues. It's more than just a rally. It could be a change in perspective.